So many great cartoons. Let's get straight to it. Johannes Leek, good to talk to you again, mate. Can't hear you, but I'll sort that out in a minute. Let's start with your colleague down at the Herald Sun, Mark Knight. I love these cartoons about COVID. The first one we got here, he's got Faulty Towers. With all the quarantine breaches in Victoria, he's got Faulty Towers. Daniel Andrews out there running around like Basil Fawlty. And what's that? It's Victoria's coronavirus hotel quarantine system under new management.
Yeah, I just think it absolutely sums up Victoria as a whole at the moment, just so perfectly. This sort of shambles of a joint. The latest we've heard is bed bugs in one of these places. The joint, they're leaking like sieves. It's the security guards are taking it home with them. I mean, it's just so farcical. You can't believe it. It's straight out of Faulty Towers. I love that. I was trying to work out what exactly Dan Andrews is doing in the foreground there, and Is that the act of branch stacking? Is he stacking branches on that car there?
Yes, maybe he is. Oh, yeah. I think you might be onto something. Let's have a look at this other one, a similar theme, where Mark Knight has combined the COVID story with, of course, Daniel Andrews being chairman, of the Belt and Road Initiative with China. So you've got this famous image from the Tiananmen Square massacre, a COVID response. Victoria calls in the army. And this bloke in front, Tank Man, is just, I had to go to the supermarket and panic buy some toilet paper. They're back at that in Victoria.
Yeah, I love that caption. I had to panic buy toilet paper. It's like panic buying is now a totally legitimate thing that you do. I'm not going shopping today. I'm actually going panic buying. But yeah, there's a funny story about this one too, Chris, and that is on Thursday I'd spent all day working on a cartoon. It got to 3 p.m. and I spoke to John Spooner and I said, oh, here's what I've got for tomorrow. And he said, oh, have you not seen Mark's that's in today? And I said, no, I haven't.
No. Yeah.
And I had a look and it was exactly the same idea. But Mark got there a day before me. So I had to quickly do a full U-turn and do something different. So that does actually happen from time to time. I had the same general idea of Chinese tanks, rolling down past Flinders Street Station and had to quickly do an immediate about turn.
You had to do some panic cartooning.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
Let's have a look at Zanetti's here when we look at the coronavirus and the Joker Novak Djokovic and the trouble he got into. And this is just a simple cartoon, but it's so good. He's just got him smashing the virus all around the place into the crowd and whatnot. And you've done a medical one too. On the COVID-19, where you've got this bloke, he's in critical condition in the ICU ward, and this other bloke, of course, because Victoria wasn't forcing people to do testing when they're in quarantine. And this bloke's saying, OK, maybe I should have let them test me in quarantine, but it's rather uncomfortable, Mind you, the other bloke's struggling to live.
Yes, it's having, one of those sort of prodders stuck down your nose and up into your nasal cavities versus being intubated and kept alive, via various machines. I think I know which one causes more discomfort.
You've got them both. Yeah, you've got both of them in a lovely shade of green, I must admit, but it's an absolute ripper.
Hospital green.
I've got to get to this cartoon, which is my favourite of the week, unsurprisingly, and this is where you've got people lining up at Centrelink. And one of the blokes says, I used to look down on Australia from up in the clouds. And the Qantas captain, the now unemployed Qantas captain, says, you're at Qantas too? This bloke says, no, I was at the ABC. I mean, just nailed it, Johannes.
Thanks, mate. Thanks. Well, it does, it is raised often enough to me at any rate that one of the things that people do find the most sort of disappointing about the ABC is a sense that they don't cater for all Australians, that they don't speak for or to all Australians, and sometimes you do get the distinct impression that they actually it goes a bit further than that, and they sort of sneer at a large section of the Australian community that doesn't belong to their particular sort of ideological set. So. I don't know. I mean, I think there's something to be looked at there. I know you think so too. But anyway, I as a cartoonist, you look for parallels, and in that those particular stories, that was the one I could find.
That was a perfect parallel. It was hilarious. Now, here's a cartoon that our Victorian viewers won't have seen. This is from Warren Brown in the Daily Telegraph, drawing on the usual New South Wales versus Victoria rivalry. He's got Premier Gladys Berejiklian at the border saying, "Halt New South Wales border and know your Victorians." They have man buns, they drink soy macchiatos, and they have a look of disapproval on their face. This identity politics through and through, but hilarious cartoon from Warren Brown. That's all the time we've got for you tonight. Johannes, thanks so much for joining us, mate. Have a good week.
Thanks, Chris. Always a pleasure.